He's done it!
Throws up the floater.
Oh, astonishing.
Pulls off three-pointer.
Week 16, episode 16 of Off the Record. Welcome back. I am your host, Bailey Jackson, joined by my co-host, Lachelle Smith. And Lachelle, we have a busy episode today. Very, very packed. But first, we're going to get into a little bit of football talk before we jump into our segments. We've got I just combined the two team names. The Falcons. We've got the Falcons. We've got the Falcons and the Vikings. Game right after the show. And this is an exciting one because with this matchup, we get to basically see the national championship game almost, identical. Yeah, exactly. All over again. JJ McCarthy, Michael Penix, they square off again like they did for a national championship the last time they met. The conversation of, is JJ owning Penix? Is this going to be Michigan-Washington 2.0? Or is Penix getting his lick back? And I know last week we both predicted Falcons. And I think a large reason was because we hadn't seen JJ play. They were playing that Monday night game here in Chicago against the Bears. We weren't 100% sure what he was going to look like. Now that game has passed, are we still holding our same stance or are we switching things up a bit?
I think I'm switching.
Okay.
I'm not easily impressed by young quarterbacks, truly. Something about JJ, I somewhat feel why Kevin O'Connell believed. Like, I thought, like, this is going to be bad. After week one, I was like, there's just no way. He throws the pick six. But then, like, it's like something just switched for him really fast. And I was kind of blown away by that. Like, how they talk about him, how Jay Jettas was talking about him, how he's on the sideline, like, hey, don't give up on me. He's like, I would never do that. You hear, Aaron Jones talking about how he comes in the huddle after and is like, would you rather be anywhere else? Like, I'm going with Minnesota. I like it. I like what JJ's bringing. I like Michael Penix too, but I think them losing how they did and then Minnesota winning how they did, I think has shifted. Because like you said, we based that off of not really knowing how JJ was going to play. So I think I'm going to switch to Minnesota.
That's fair. I feel the same way, honestly. I mean, he looked really good in that fourth quarter. I can't say he looked really good throughout the entire game. And I talked a little bit about this on my page earlier in the week where that he is a true definition of a guy that the team is just like open arms. They are welcoming him in. They love him. He is that leader that they need despite the age. It's like you got, 23, I think he's 23-year-old out here telling the vets, keep up, keep going. You got it. Motivating them. And it's like, okay, that might be, you don't hear a whole lot of conversation around like the tangibles about JJ, but it's those, intangible qualities that it's like kind of makes him that potential, star player. And I think we saw a glimpse of that in week one in that game against the Bears. I'm interested to see, how that will come through again this week. And with that being said, I do feel optimistic that the Vikings might take this one. So I'm going to switch up my stance as well. Chat, chime in. What are you thinking for this Falcons-Vikings game that we will see in about an hour? On top of that, we're recapping our week 2 picks for college football. We had a perfect pick. Yay!
Boo, 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 boo. Chat. I lost something just because a kicker couldn't make a kick.
Dang. Did you bet money on it?
Heck no. And I'm glad I you know what? I used to bet a little bit of money in college football. And then I had to remind myself, I'm placing money and value on teenagers.
Yeah.
And I have more self-respect than to do that because they keep failing me. Like, no, never. But as the season keeps going, I might end up, once it gets serious, I might try to put a little bet here and there, sprinkle. But Chad, like, Tennessee's kicker is the only I gave them hope. The safe bet and the logical bet truly was Georgia. Like, truly it was, they were favored. Like, I tried to give Tennessee some hope. Like, I'm like, oh, they might could do it. And my brother texted me during the game. He was like, wow, Tennessee's playing so good, but something in me tells me they're just going to blow it.
Mm.
I'm so glad I didn't bet any money on that game.
We'll get into that a little later too, because we have a lot to dissect with that game. It was definitely a good one. You picked Tennessee, I picked Georgia. The rest of our picks were on par. We chose the same teams winning for that Ole Miss Arkansas game.
Yep.
Yeah. And then who else did we have?
LSU, Florida.
Yeah, LSU, Florida, A&M, Notre Dame. We both had A&M and we both had LSU. So, yeah, we did pretty good when it came to college football for the games that we looked at. For NFL, we might have to take some time to like recap that at the end, honestly, because I need to see what the scores look like. But from what I've seen and what I remember, we're doing pretty good on that end as well. So hopefully we'll keep the streak going this week. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump into our topics for today. We had some boxing action over the weekend. One of the most anticipated fights, Canelo Crawford. Terrence Crawford became the first male boxer to capture 3 unified division titles when he defeated Canelo Alvarez by unanimous decision on Saturday night to win the super middleweight championship. It's considered to be among one of the greatest fights in Vegas history. Chat, did you have a chance to watch? Lachelle, did you get to watch? And what were your initial thoughts as that fight wrapped up?
I enjoyed it. I mean, shout out Netflix. I'm not gonna lie. I hope that they continue to put on these boxing matches. I mean, making it accessible for everyone if you have a Netflix subscription, which most people do have, not having to pay extra to watch it. I thought the production level was really great. The fight itself was amazing. I mean, talking to a lot of people who watch boxing, they were like, it doesn't get any better than that. Like, that was 2 masterful boxers really just in flow state of boxing. And what we saw from Terrence Crawford obviously being a big deal. And now these GOAT conversations are happening. It honestly, for me, it was fun to be more acclimated to that boxing world and like how they are viewing his resume, but also what this win like really meant for his career.
No, absolutely. The one qualm I have to pick with Netflix is, why are you starting a fight at 1 a.m. Eastern time?
It's late.
Oh my gosh.
It was late.
That was supposed to start at 11 p.m. 11 p.m.
It was late.
And I understand it's on Pacific time. You know, it's in Vegas. For them, it's only, 11 p.m. there. So, you know, it makes a lot of sense. But I mean, dang, for the people on the East Coast.
It was late. It was.
Yeah.
They mistimed something. They missed time. And then also to mention, like, the battle of the bands that was happening before the fight started cracked me up. I said, are we having a real concert? And we're already hanging by a thread here to stay awake. But I'm not gonna lie, them bands was getting it. I was up after that. I was like, oh, we might can make it to the end of this thing, because they were going. They was hooting and hollering in a good way. I was for it.
Yeah, you were locked in after that. That's so
they was
fair.
flowing. They was getting it.
They were for sure. But yeah, the real fight was staying awake. I was in a bar trying to. I had no seat. I had heels on. I'm like, oh, I'm fighting for my own life right now, trying to watch this fight.
It was late.
It was too much, but it was worth it. It was a little slow to start. I will say that. I'm not a huge boxing girl. I admittedly don't follow the sport too much. Don't know the history of the boxers, too well either, but I did thoroughly enjoy this fight. And from what I did learn about both Canelo and Crawford, I've really enjoyed just kind of hearing their storylines, and specifically Crawford. I want to touch on 2 stories that really resonated with me, because this ultimately made me root for him. And those 2 stories, one was in 2008. And so he was shot in the head while sitting in his car. The bullet barely missed his brain. He drove himself to the hospital for treatment. And that was the moment that ultimately made him change his life around and focus on boxing, like really focus on his boxing career and lock in. And then the other story that he's told that also I feel like speaks to his character. When he was a kid, his mom would tell him, like, you are not going to amount to anything. She put it in a very different wording, but I'm not going to say it for our PG audience. But he said that would, just kind of fill him with rage. She would tell the neighborhood kids that, like, hey, I'll give you $10 if you can beat my son. and he wouldn't lose. And he would always look to his mother's approval, and it never happened. So it's like, kind of interesting hearing those two stories. It's like, there's a lot of qualities in an individual that ultimately form a lot of character, um character traits that form from experiences like that, that made me ultimately root for him, aside from being just the American in the fight as well, homegrown
Yeah.
Nebraska kid. But yeah, hearing his story was really cool, and I wanted to share it with y'all as well. But great fight at the end of the day, great fight. On another note, I do want to touch on some comments made by Max Kellerman. One, I didn't even know Max Kellerman was in the boxing world like that. I thought that man was.
Oh, he's a boxing purist.
That was news to me, because again, I'm not admittedly I'm not too much into the boxing world. I'm not too much into the sport, but I listening to Max, I said, you a little hypocritical right now, because he was very adamant from the jump about this like fight, and he was saying like Terrence has never fought anyone elite going into this fight, right? And then after the fight's over, he's talking about, oh, you're the GOAT of this era. I'm like, how are you going to talk about his resume, tear it down 1 second, and then you're going to turn around and you're going to talk about him being the greatest? I'm like, are you riding the moment, or are you going to like actually stick to what you believe in? Because I'm sitting here confused. And I know a lot of people aren't fans of Kellerman in the boxing space. So I'm curious what their thoughts are after, some of the statements that he made. And like I said, taking that stance and then turning around and giving a completely different take. Chat, let me know if you have any thoughts. And Lachelle, same on your end. Like, what did you think about just Kellerman's comments?
I like Max in boxing because I feel like it's his element. You can tell when he's commentating how much excitement he has. Like, he really loves boxing. And I think even at the end of the fight, he even was like, I hope this propels the sport. Like, I hope that this showed everyone that this sport needs to be back on the top. I think for him, but I think he wasn't the only one in the boxing world that brought up Crawford's resume at times. I think Canelo was a favorite for a lot of boxing analysts and commentators. I mean, he's younger, he's bigger. I mean, Crawford had to jump up 2 weight classes. I think there were a lot of questions from everyone, not just Max. I guess for Max, I can understand maybe fans and people being like, man, that's kind of hypocritical. I think for him, and probably for a lot of those boxing analysts, you could tell that there was a moment of like, whoa, like you just boxed really probably a perfect fight. And I think for him in that moment, it was the realization of, wait a minute, like now we have to put respect. I can't get up here and tell you how I thought your resume was, not gonna, it's like, man, you just did that. Like Canelo is Canelo. Like people really saw him as a favorite. There were so many question marks, but I thought for Max in that moment, he truly, in a way, I thought was trying to help people who were most likely getting introduced to the sport. Like when he uses the basketball analogy of like, you are him of this era. You are that, like you are next to Floyd. Like I think he was trying to kind of make that visualization for all of us to understand where Terrence is in the conversation of what this fight meant. Because I think for a lot of people, maybe they didn't understand how big it was. And then like when you see him, on the ground crying. And I think for Max, it's almost like any fan, like you have your favorite of who you think is most likely going to win. You give your reasons why you don't think the other person's going to win. And then when they do it in a fashion that maybe you didn't expect, it's like, dang, like I can't do nothing but give you love. Like, yeah. You fought perfectly, honestly. Like, what complaints can we have about what you did? And I think you heard him even after, like, he really had high praise. He was like, man, like, he's it. He's the guy. Like, I hope that this helps the sport. And I think for a lot of people, understanding what this means for Terrence Crawford, I mean, he even said it. I think a reporter asked him after, how do you feel like you're better than Floyd? And he was like, Floyd was the best of his generation. I'm the best of mine. Like, I'm not here to compare. I'm not here to compete in that. Like, you hear Canelo even say, like, oh, he's better than Floyd. Like, I think for even this moment, Canelo got hit in the face and he kind of looking like, wait a minute now. I think there was some utter surprise for a lot of people, including Canelo, because that video of him when he got popped and he kind of looked at him like,
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Like,
yeah.
And you see Crawford laughing and smiling in the ring, shaking his head like, nah, it ain't gonna work. I think everyone was like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, you really are it to go up 2 weight classes to fight Canelo. You're 38. Like, I think for Max, I think it was a moment of, whoo, we got this one wrong. Like, you're him.
Hey, that's fair. That's a fair stance. I respect that, and I would understand if that is the mindset that he was in, if that is, you know, where he was coming from. Because I mean, at the end of the day, sometimes you do just have to admit that you were, you know, wrong about what you initially said, and like you said, other people were questioning, you know, his resume as well. So, you know, maybe it's not as hypocritical as it kind of looked at face value, but interesting comments nonetheless. And like I said, I know a lot of people have had their fair share of things to say about Kellerman. At the end of the day, that's not the focus. The focus is Crawford and Canelo and the fight, and Crawford winning and celebrating him and that accomplishment. Because yeah, he did his big one with that fight, 42-0. He even had a Rolex ready to go, engraved before the fight even started.
It's a huge deal.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's so many people who probably started looking up, you know, his highlights, comparing it. I've seen a lot of people say like, man, this looked like it was Floyd Mayweather. Like, it looks like, I've seen that from a lot of people in the boxing world that were like, that might have been the most perfect fight that we could have seen from a boxer, because so many people have respect for Canelo. I mean, you even see Canelo, he's like, dog, like he went out there. I mean, Crawford, from the moment, it was entertaining, but it was really masterful seeing them study each other as the match went on. And then, and like, just seeing more and more how Crawford just like cocky, arrogant, shaking his head when he hitting them like that ain't gonna work, popping them. Like, it was fun to watch. I appreciate that a lot of the analysts, because it was a lot of them that did not have Crawford winning. And I respected at the end, they all were like, yeah, like he's the GOAT. Like, how can we, I think I can respect that about boxing. They're not like a basketball and a football where like their pride will make them stay with the decision. A lot of them just were like, I mean, what more can we, all the things that we said as to why he wouldn't win, it didn't matter. Like, it didn't matter.
Yeah. Hey, that's fair. That's fair. I respect that. Like I said, shout out Crawford for that win last night. Great fight. Would be interested to see what is next for him, what is next for Canelo as well. That being said, we're going to go ahead and transition to a little WNBA talk, because today, September 14th, kicks off the first day of playoffs. There are a few changes I want to note for this year. First round series are best of 3, meaning the higher seed hosting game 3 if needed. And the finals have been expanded this year from best of 5 to best of 7 for the first time. Let's take a look at how the playoff picture shaped up and what the teams bring in. For starters, we have the number 1 seed Lynx will face the number 8 seed Valkyries. Chat, Lachelle, I want you to fill in the blank game series with the blank advancing. You follow?
Okay.
Chat, let me know if that's confusing, because I think I confused myself as I was reading through that.
Okay.
So in this case, I'm saying this is a 3-game series with the Lynx advancing.
Got you. I have that as a 2-game series with the Lynx advancing.
Okay.
After what I saw today, I thought it was gonna go 3. I take it back. It's probably 2.
Okay. That's fair. We've got number 2 Aces face the number 7 Storm.
Aces Storm going 3 with the Aces advancing.
Okay. I'm going to say Aces in 2. It's 2-game series with the Aces advancing. And I'm saying that because the momentum that they carry off of regular season, that 16-game win streak to finish off is insane. So I just feel like they are going to be a problem to stop. I don't see the Storm getting a win in, but
ooh,
we'll see.
You're going to make Skylar Diggins crash out.
Oh well.
I'm rooting for Sky to take it to 3. I hope she does whatever it takes.
No, that's fair. I
Throw a
respect her
chair
game.
if you got to.
I respect her game. I like her. So, you know, if they win, if they take a win, I won't be mad, but I'm going to say Aces in 2. Next, we've got the number 3 Dream against the number 6 Fever.
Since Dream already won, I had them winning this series anyway, so them winning today might change the number of what I thought, but Dream, Fever in 2 with the Dream advancing.
Okay. You make a good point. We've already seen some games happen, and I did not make note of that. Let me see.
Because Phoenix, once we get to Phoenix and Liberty, they're on right now. But I had the Mercury winning that series before they started playing. But
Okay. Yeah, the Liberty took game 1.
oh, okay, so it's over.
Yeah,
It
Dream
was close. What was the score?
76-69.
Hmm.
And then yeah, Dream took game 1 and Lynx took game 1. And then we get to see Storm Aces tonight.
I'll probably go Phoenix, Liberty going 3 with Mercury advancing.
Okay. Dang, we got opposite. I got Liberty in 3.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been convinced with New York this season. Maybe it's because they've had the injuries and like that kind of has slowed down their progression. I'm also thinking about Phoenix does have the higher seed, so like that third game would be in Phoenix, which I think is a big deal. If it was probably New York for that third game, I think I wouldn't see Phoenix, but I think them being able to be at home. I like Phoenix though. I like what AT is doing. I mean, I like what Copper's doing. I like what they have going on defensively. And I think a lot of times if you could defensively get some stops, get some momentum, I could trust that they can at least force it to 3. It wouldn't shock me if New York ends it in 2, but I'm a hope maybe for a little bit of an upset there.
I respect. The thing that pushes me to choose Liberty over Mercury is their playoff experience. Obviously, like, you know, they've
For
had
sure.
recent championship. Recent championship, they've had, you know, recent success in the postseason. So, you know, I'm utilizing that knowledge to kind of push them a little bit further. But I could see the Mercury potentially switching some things up. Did we say our Dream Fever pick? Or did we skip over that?
I got Dream in 2.
Okay. I got Dream in 3, but let me see what they. Yeah. Okay, so they already got 1 win. Yeah. Yeah, I got Dream in 3. I think if the Fever were looking a little healthier, I would be a little bit more inclined to sway that direction. But obviously, it's like you got so many people out right now, so it's just. I think they'll get 1 win, but I mean nothing more than that. Realistically speaking.
Yeah.
Realistically
Facts.
speaking, their backcourt is severely diminished. It's severely weakened. So unfortunately with injuries, that's that situation for them. But okay, those are our predictions for WNBA playoffs. Like I said, we already have some games underneath our belt. We have another matchup tonight, and that was Storm Aces. So we'll see how that ends up playing out. We got live score updates. It looks like the Colts, not to switch over to football so quickly, but the Colts beat the Broncos. Did not have that. Did not have that. But that's okay.
Let me find out Daniel Jones is actually the guy. Let me not give him too much credit.
Let me see what he was doing today. Let me see. Daniel Jones.
Dang, was Anthony Richardson the problem? I got questions, chat.
Because why are the Colts 2-0 right now?
Chat.
Ooh, because why are the Colts 2-0 right now? We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that. That may be a sneaky one we sneak into one of our segments here in a bit.
Wild.
That is kind of wild. What? I didn't need that live score update. That totally threw me off. Anyways, like I said, we're wrapping up WNBA playoffs conversation. We've got our picks in. We'll see how that first round plays out, and then we'll come back and we'll ultimately analyze, you know, if we were right, if we were wrong, and then get our predictions in for that next round. But chat, like I said, chime in on what you think is going to happen, what you think will ultimately play out there. On that note, we're going to go ahead and transition to some other basketball talk. This is a little bit more controversial. We're going to turn to the NBA. Unless you are living under a rock, you've probably heard about the controversy involving the Clippers and Kawhi Leonard. We haven't touched on this topic on the show yet. So to give you all some backstory, an investigative journalist by the name of Pablo Torre has accumulated a substantial amount of evidence that suggests the Clippers may have circumvented the NBA salary cap rules through a $28 million no-show job with a now bankrupt company called Aspiration. Aspiration is a tree planting company. You know, while the controversy itself could fill its own discussion, I'm way more interested in the takes coming out of the Torre Clippers report. And some of them, in my opinion, are just terrible. There's a lot of people saying, who cares? What's he even getting out of this? And it leads me to this. This is exactly what happens when NBA journalism gets Shamsified. And no offense to Shams, shout out Shams, it's all love. But what I mean by that is these days reporting is less about actually investigating or holding people accountable and more about repeating news. And a lot of that news is whatever agents or whatever PR teams are feeding the Shams, the Wojs of the world, right? Real journalism is gone, in my opinion. And then you look at how players are taking it. You got Channing Frye, for example, coming at Pablo with, first of all, why are you snitching? Snitching? Like, that's how disconnected you are from the actual reporting. It's like, since when did doing your job make you the villain? And I feel bad for Pablo, honestly. And I know, Lachelle, you've touched on this a bit. So I want you to chime in here as well and chat. Feel free to drop your opinions. But it's just so interesting how he is being attacked. Even we've seen Mark Cuban join the conversation. I'm like, this guy is just doing his job, and he's doing his job well. So like, the fact that people are looking at this, like I said, making him a villain, thinking that this is, some type of misstep, like, let me know what you think, because I think it's awfully weird. And like I said, a lot of bad takes that I'm seeing on my end.
People are odd. I mean, social media now, people can't differentiate, like you said, the Shams of the world and actual journalism. I mean, the job of journalism is to uncover truth, however that is supposed to be. And, chat, I'll let you research, but there was a very well-known media personality journalist that actually called Pablo out a few months ago and was like, he's not really a real journalist. Ever since that man said that about Pablo, he has been on a legendary run of uncovering a lot of stuff. You got Collusion Gate in the NFL he uncovered. I mean, he's went so far in uncovering things since that was stated about him, which is investigative journalism. And maybe for people, they don't understand how that works. He has taken 7 months in investigating this aspiration Kawhi Leonard case. He did not wake up 2 months ago and was like, I'm about to blow this whole thing up. He's been investigating this for 7 months. And what people fail to realize, that's how journalism is supposed to be. And you also don't know if he got a tip about it, because that's how that also works. Hey, do you want to know about this? I actually want to share my story about what's happening so you can uncover it. That's how a lot of major scandals have been talked about. One person going to one journalist that they felt like, hey, maybe you can uncover all these other documents. He's had 7 sources, 2 former employees that were willing, voice modulated, to speak to him and have that used. Like, I don't know why the NBA is being like this. I don't understand why Channing Frye said what he said. Like, that it's not snitching, it's journalism. He gains nothing from this. Right. Other than now, people got to be on their P's and Q's with him, because he might be finding out things you don't want people to know. But that's what the show is called. Pablo Torre finds out. He's finding out. Like,
if it wasn't obvious enough, yeah.
Yeah, like, what is the difference when everyone likes to sit there and figure out who so-and-so's dating, and you're on Dumas, and you're like, oh, they date, wow. Y'all ain't calling them snitches. But now the person with an actual Harvard degree, who was on ESPN, who has been in this world for a very long time of journalism, now y'all upset.
Right.
I don't know what Mark Cuban did. I actually want Mark Cuban to stop talking to Pablo. I love Mark Cuban, but it's getting to a point. Pablo he said some things to that man that I'm like, Mark, I think you should take his little hint, because that's not somebody I want to make mad right now. That's not somebody because a part of me feels like Pablo's like, all right, keep on acting like I'm lying before I start digging up some stuff. Like, and that back and forth between him and Mark Cuban has been the funniest thing to me, because like, nothing Mark Cuban has said has made sense to me.
No.
And his entire argument is basically like, because I'm a billionaire and because I owned a team, I'm telling you how this like couldn't have happened.
Right. How things work. Because I saw a tweet. He was like, well, you don't understand like the business of owning a team. You don't understand the behind the scenes. You don't need to understand any of that. You
That
don't.
has nothing to do with that.
It doesn't have anything to do. Not
yeah,
the
like it's
slightest.
not
You have a different
owning a
perspective.
team 101.
But
right.
But it's not like
exactly.
you have different level of knowledge. Like
and Pablo's like, he can't get it. I watched the interview with them and Pablo was like, I'm literally showing you the documents.
Right.
Like I am he's like, I've been scammed too. Huh?
Been scammed too.
Mark? That was his argument. He's like, I've been scammed too, so it's not far-fetched. Like, Mark was trying to throw Uncle Dennis under the bus. I'm not gonna lie. If I'm Uncle Dennis, I might have to sing. I might have to, because I'm not going down. Oh, right. No. Mark Cuban spent that whole interview basically saying, like Uncle Dennis was the culprit. If I was Uncle Dennis, I'm snitching.
I'm singing like a bird. Yeah, now the snitch word comes into the conversation. Yeah.
Now I'm snitching
because I'm singing like a bird. I'm not gonna go down for that.
I would call Pablo right now. Hey, right. you want to know what really happened? I'll tell you in person. Meet me here. Okay, so this is what Steve told me. This is what he said when we went to the meeting. Okay, and this is also what he said. Okay, what else do you need? Because Mark was Uncle Dennis. I said, I know you lying. Why would you throw Uncle Dennis? Uncle Dennis not the billionaire here. Like, why is you? He didn't invest $60 million into this fraudulent tree planting cup. Now Uncle Dennis got to run for his life. Right. Because, like, I don't know what Steve Ballmer might do. That man loves the Clippers. Mm-hmm. If he really feels like, I fear for him. Because that interview he did, I said, oh, he's not taking this well. He said, I'm scammed. Steve, you're a billionaire. You're a billionaire. You can't, You're not the victim here.
Right.
Stop it. But I fear for him. Like, somebody gonna have to take the fall for this. Mm-hmm. If I'm Uncle Dennis, I'm snitching. I'm going right to Pablo, and I'm telling exactly what happened, how Kawhi had no idea, how, yes, I did do it, but Steve told me how. We're all going under. Yes. Together in the name of investigative journalism.
Right. If I'm going down, so are you. Let's go, buddy. Hold my hands.
Like, what?
My hand. Let's jump in the deep end now. Yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess. And it's crazy, too, because it's like the Clippers cannot escape owner controversy. That was the first thing that popped in my head once reports came out. I'm like, oh, my gosh. Between the family, what's their names? The old owners.
Oh, the Sterlings?
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Between the Sterlings and Steve Ballmer, I'm like, they cannot escape. The Clippers cannot escape. And this is definitely, I feel like, worse.
Yeah, if they on an ownership level, it's horrendous. Yeah.
If they find, because at the end of the day, the other issue, and I know we said that we were going to focus more on the Pablo piece of it, but to get into the actual controversy, right? The NBA's involvement. We've seen Adam Silver say, we're not going to do anything unless there's substantial evidence. So, now it's about proving that what Pablo has brought to the table is ultimately, we can connect all those dots and find those things to be true. So that's the part where I'm like, dang, like, I don't know, realistically speaking, if the NBA is going to be able to do all that.
I think he's making it so hard on them. Mm-hmm. I don't know if every time one of them speaks, the next day he has more evidence that pretty much throws away their initial statement that they made prior.
That's true.
Like, it's actually funny in so many ways because it really does feel like Kendrick Lamar just like dropping tracks after each one. Like, every time one of them says something, it's like the next day Pablo has something that's like, wow, you just completely got caught up. I mean, you have Commissioner even saying, like, I never heard of the company Aspiration. But Mark Cuban said on the interview that the NBA goes through a very extensive, vetting process of NBA sponsors. and this was a sponsor that was going on their jersey. So what do you mean you've never heard of the company Aspiration until that episode?
Right.
Like, there's certain things like him saying he wanted it to be fair, and then you got Pablo being like, okay, so the other minority owner just randomly dropped this money and 9 days later Kawhi gets paid. I guess that's not a coincidence. It's like the evidence is so crazy that I don't even think you could use benefit of the doubt now. Like, unless you just want to. But at this point, Adam Silver's in a pickle. Unless there is somebody's going to have to take the fall for this.
Oh, absolutely.
Somebody. And Steve is trying to figure out who. Because something has to happen. There's any person who can read can see that my mother, who is 67, I've explained this to her, and she's like, so the owner did it. Now, if she could figure this out, I don't know how the rest.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hey, somebody in the chat said that boy got receipts, and then they asked, so is it money laundering? I guess.
Great question. Great question. Well, the owners, I think the co-founders they pleaded guilty to wire fraud, and I think something else. So the co-owners did, but Steve, it's so much more that I think is to this that I don't even feel like we've touched the surface of how deep and I'm scared of how deep it could go. Cause like, we're talking about millions of dollars in like real cap circumvention, like blatantly in our eyes. That's a lot of money to be circumvented. A lot.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
That's close to $50 million. Like,
yeah, it's no joke money. It's not like it's 6 figures, 7 figures. Like it's a lot of zeros, and it's a lot of money, like you said, to be getting around the salary cap. It was something a clear violation of the NBA rules, So this is gonna potentially spiral into something that is
for sure
beyond what we have ever seen. And like you said, somebody's gonna have to take the fall. It is just a matter of who at this point. And I'm very curious to see what Pablo has next. That's all I got to say. So, Pablo, if you are watching this, we are patiently waiting.
Yes.
We want to know what receipt you have queued up. We have notifications on, and we're locked in and we are ready.
It's like Gossip Girl.
It really is.
I'm not going to ruin Gossip Girl for you guys, but
Pablo Torre.
Yeah. Pablo finds out. I mean, he's very true to the title. He's finding out.
Yep. No, shout out Pablo. And that's another thing I want to touch on too, because in the midst of all of this, people kind of getting on him about, oh, you're snitching, this isn't real journalism, what are you doing, you're being painted as a villain. You're not the villain, Pablo. You're not the villain. You are doing great work. You have opened a lot of conversations, and despite what that may lead to, you are not the person to be blamed. So I hope you're taking this. I hope you're taking this well. Like you said, you have a supporter in us, and I'm sure thousands and thousands of other people who are patiently waiting alongside to see what you got next. Because this is hot. This is hot. This is very hot. And I'm sure we will be talking about it again. On that note, we're going to go ahead and transition to a little bit of football talk. We're back to the football. We got some recaps of college football action this weekend. We also want to talk about some of the NFL games that we saw on Thursday and today. We're going to start with UGA, Tennessee. We touched on this a little bit earlier because, like I said, perfect pick, not perfect pick. We had a slightly differing outcomes for this game. I had UGA, LaSalle had Tennessee. I would have never predicted that game would have ended the way it did, to be honest with you. So the fact that I got that perfect pick was a little bit of luck at the end of the day, but I know not to bet against the dogs. So that's how I ultimately came down to my decision. But the Vols took an early lead. The dogs responded. At first, it was looking, like you said earlier, it was looking good for the Vols. So, the way that game ended up transpiring, you're at the end, tied 38, late in regulation. Tennessee had a chance to win, in the final seconds. They missed that 43-yard field goal, and it's in the game into overtime. I mean, nobody could have predicted that. Nobody could have predicted that happening. Thoughts? Because I feel like there's a little bit of irony in that game too.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, you really can't count out Georgia. They struggled very early on in that game. I feel like the turning point was the Zachariah Branch touchdown off the screen, kind of like a special play because he's one of the fastest players in college football. I think another turning play was Branch again when they go for the 2-point conversion. He's like not even covered. There was just like little things that Georgia was able to do. It's like they picked out the smallest weakness at the time and was like, oh, let's maximize that. I think too, Tennessee had, I want to say, either one or two of their star cornerbacks that were out. So a freshman was out there on that island. You saw him getting tested all game. The kicker looked nervous before he even went out there. They had the camera on him, and I was like, "Oh yeah, he's sick." Like he didn't look confident. He looked like it was a lot. Like, because at a certain point, I was like, "Wow, they're really like letting this game go." Because Georgia found rhythm. Like they started getting stops. You got Joey Aguilar. He started throwing pig. He couldn't move the football. I'm like, man, how is the stadium post up in your own stadium? Like, you should know what's going on. He goes out there, even the overtime, they just weren't equipped. I mean, classic Tennessee, I guess.
43 yards miss is kind of crazy to me. Like, it's a longer kick, but I mean, I feel like he should have made that.
He could have made it. He could have made it.
But like you said, he went out there, he wasn't looking confident. I mean, like the game's on the line. You're that guy in that moment. So it's like there's a lot of pressure. You can't get mad at him. But 43 yards, you got to make that.
They also had the penalty, so that pushed them back. So it would have been more like on the 30s. So maybe that's to blame, but not really, if you ask me.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I mean, especially if you're going into the mindset, oh, I'm only kicking from, 30 something yards. And then it's like, oh, dang, like now it's 43. Like, I got to switch it up a bit. I got to tailor this kick a little differently. So I can understand how that might mess with your mental a little bit in that moment. It's like, last minute change of plans. But again, 43 yards. I mean, I'm no kicker. I can't say I could go out there and do it myself, but I feel like he probably should have and could have made that. You talk about Stadium Pulse. I want to touch on that real quickly because I feel like we got spammed with, oh, Neyland's so loud. It's such a hard stadium to play in. Oh, Stadium Pulse off the charts. Whole week leading up to the game just for Georgia to have 0 false starts. Meanwhile, Tennessee had a false start to make that kick like we talked about.
Yeah. I don't know. It was like reverse Stadium Pulse. I don't know. I think, too, they got quiet when they were so nervous. Those Tennessee fans, oh, my heart goes out to them. They were so nervous. There was one guy they kept putting the camera on, and he just looked like you could have just threw him right off the railing. I was like, oh, I hope he makes this kick for your sanity. Like, I think it got quiet in there. So I think it was like reverse after a while, because I'm like, it didn't sound loud after once we got to that second half. I was like, sound a little empty up in here. Like, it was rocking in the beginning, but like, yeah, I think it was reverse Stadium Pulse. Something happened.
That's what I'm saying. Some irony in that game right there.
Facts.
It wasn't playing in their favor like they thought it was going to. Speaking of other games that we just did not see going the way that they, ultimately panned out, Notre Dame A&M. We both had A&M winning. But that game, I was rooting for Notre Dame behind the scenes. I really wanted them to win, but there was a part of me that really thought they were going to kind of clinch up and not be the team that they needed to be. And that's my qualms with Notre Dame right now, is they are not playing to Notre Dame standards. The whole end of the game, I mean, it was bad. It was bad watching that. Mistake after mistake. But the one thing I do want to touch on is, do we feel like a mistake by someone else is what actually cost them? Because it appears officials missed a holding call on A&M O-lineman on that touchdown pass. Thoughts on that?
I mean, I seen the clip. It does look like holding from the textbook definition. I always lean on what Kirk Herbstreit has always said. You could probably call holding on every single possession of every single play. I mean, at the end of the day, you don't let them be able to drive down the field. Then I want to say there was a penalty before that allowed them to even get back in the position. So I don't know. It was a call that I think was in debate of being missed, but like, defense was kind of getting lit up throughout the night. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I can take it down to that call. That defense was not good.
They weren't looking great at all.
Wasn't.
No, yeah. And that's kind of my stance on it as well. It's like I do think it was a miss on the officials' part, but that wasn't the reason that Notre Dame lost that game. I'm not going to sit here and be like, that is why A&M won. That is why Notre Dame lost. Like, no, there was a lot of things, like I said earlier, that were going wrong. Plenty of mistakes in the final moments of the game. Like I said, Notre Dame is not playing to the standard that they are known for. Marcus Freeman knows that. He talked about that in the post-game presser. And it kind of sucks for them because it's like 2 early losses. You're 0-2 to start the season against 2 ranked teams. It's like, this is going to probably hurt and haunt you as you go further down the line, with the rest of their schedule, rest of the season. I think it's safe to say that it will be very tough for Notre Dame to make the playoffs. The fact that we're already talking about that now and it's just week 2, but
yeah,
like that,
I mean, they shouldn't be ranked
for them. Yeah,
they shouldn't be after this week. They should not be in the top 25 whatsoever. If they are still in the top 25 tomorrow, that's insane. No. You just lost two ranked teams. You can't deserve to still be in the no. No,
absolutely not. I agree with that one. Another game we got to see, LSU Florida, which we both picked LSU to win that. We had some questionable play from Lagway, man. 5 interceptions. He's not the guy that I think that Florida thought Billy Napier thought he was. And on the LSU side, I know we saw some comments from Brian Kelly after the game. The reporter talking about the offense. Brian Kelly's like, "What more do you want from me? What more do you want?"
He was upset. He was upset. He was mad. Yeah. You gotta wait to ask him questions about that offense. But the reporter was not wrong. That offense is not good. It starts slow every single game. You got the pick by Garrett Nussmeier at one point in the second half where he just carelessly throws it. That didn't make sense to me. Not wanting to establish the run game when they have 2 great running backs. I don't think they really defined who is wide receiver number 1 in that offense, which should be Aaron Anderson, and then it should go to Brown. It's just something about that offense, which is so funny because usually they have a good offense and then no defense, but now they have a great defense. It's so I get why BK was losing his mind because he's like, look, I've lost so many games in the last, 2 years to having a horrible defense. I'm now winning games because of my defense, and y'all are upset because my offense can't put up 70. I'm sorry, BK, yes, because we are looking at the future, and we know that once SEC play starts, your defense can't stay out there all the time without your offense putting up points. That's just, we've seen it happen. DJ Lagway, I don't know. That 5 interceptions was insane. He was seeing real ghost. Couldn't dissect the coverage, throwing the interceptions right to the defenders. I think there should have been a conversation of benching him after the 3rd one.
Oh, really?
5 is insane. At 5, there is no confidence. There is no nothing. Once you get to 3, that's a lot. And how the 3 are happening is a lot. Not tip balls. And it's like you're throwing it directly to guys. After 3, I might got to sit you down. His body language on the sideline, he's yelling, shaking his head. He was out of it after 3.
So
5 was horrible.
If you're Billy, are you pulling him out for the rest of the game, or are you just pulling him out for maybe a quarter or a half?
I'm probably pulling him for the game.
Okay.
Because after a certain point, his mentality was so jacked. I don't think we've seen enough from him to trust that he could dig himself out of that. And what we've seen now, 2 weeks in a row, is he kind of can't pull himself out once the game kind of starts to get out of his hands. And that is scary. And I think Billy Napier obviously loves him. I think he said after the game, I have faith that's not, this game doesn't personify who DJ is as a football player, as a man, which is understandable. But Billy, your job's on the line. And 5 interceptions in a game to an SEC opponent like LSU, he will be the reason you get fired. So after a certain point, once you get to 3, 5 is insane. LSU only had 6 interceptions, 4 or 6 last year for the whole season.
Yeah. 5
in
in
a
a
game?
single game. You make a good point.
You gotta sit. You gotta sit, buddy, because I got a family to feed. And these folks already calling for my job. You are a sophomore. You could figure it out. I'm on borrowed time right now. Like, and they weren't down by a lot. He's throwing these interceptions and they were down. One touchdown gets you right back in the game. Literally. Like, it was what, 2010? You scored in the third quarter. You're back in it. Interception. I'm like, what? Why are you acting like you down 50?
Right.
If I'm Billy, you just gotta sit, buddy. You just gotta sit. Somebody else gotta go. Somebody else gotta go out there.
Hey, that's fair enough. With that being said, do you expect to see Lagway in next week?
He will. Yeah. I think Billy is stubbornly loyal. And I think in his mind, he's like, who else do I have that's better than this? But the question would be like, what else do you have to lose at this point? Like, you're losing a lot. Now, DJ could turn around. He's a sophomore. I have to remind myself of that. He's a sophomore. He was thrusted into the QB1 position after Mertz got hurt last year. Second half, he's balling. We thought there was some potential. He has regressed. He has not gotten better. His processing has not gotten better. There are things to his game that is struggling. And this is the SEC. Your coach's job is on the line by your mistakes. After 5 interceptions is insane. Because, like, they trying to blame Billy. That Billy wasn't out there throwing to no ghost.
Billy wasn't one making those throws. Yeah.
He didn't do that.
At the end of the day,
You went out there. You
Yep.
went out there. But you got one more. I don't know who they play next, but their schedule is one of the toughest schedules in the country. If you can't figure it out next, you might got to sit.
Play Miami.
If he can't figure it out with Miami, there are real conversations to be had.
It sounds like real conversations are going to be had because he's not going to figure it out with Miami. Respectfully.
You don't think so?
No.
He might. Yeah, I don't know. It's not looking good. It's not looking good right now for him. It's not.
No, let's show respect.
It's not.
And then the week after you got Texas.
No, it's a gauntlet. Oh, they're going through a gauntlet.
Then you got Texas A&M.
They set that schedule thinking he was gonna be good.
Be something.
Like yeah, it's bad. I'm sorry, that 5 interceptions is so crazy to me. Like,
yeah,
I would have told them I can't. I would have started saying I had a concussion after the third one.
Hey, I need to come out. I got my wrist, my shoulder. Something.
I would have started faking it. What day is it? Monday.
Who's the president?
Who's the president? Obama. I'm lying. I would have been like this the whole time. Oh, my head. I'm faking it. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. No, he over there. After ain't no adversity, you digging out of that. After that third, then you go fourth. Then my head. I'm lying to the media. On Monday, I was dealing with, a little bit of dizziness. It was hard. It was hard for me. Yeah. I was confused.
Game.
What?
Hey, you make a good point. And it's really going to be interesting to see this Saturday, Miami, Texas, the weekend. I mean, it's a rough schedule. I don't think he's going to turn it around in 6 days, respectfully. It's just, it seems like he is going to be put through the fire time and time again, and he's just going to have to suffer through it. And Billy, sorry in advance if you lose your job in the process. We're going to go ahead and transition over to a little NFL. Them Packers, man. Them Packers. They're looking real good. I know it's only week 2, but they beat the Commanders
Micah Parsons.
Thursday. Hey, what did we say before? There was a little piece missing to that defense, and they got Parsons, and all of a sudden, things are looking real good. And like I said, it's only week 2. But they did secure their second win. They're 2-0 right now. I maintain that if they stay healthy, they could really come out of this conference. And, of course, in that game, Jaden Reed went down. He broke his collarbone. It's not funny. I'm not laughing. But it's just kind of ironic because that's the one thing that we needed from them is just a healthy team. And they don't have a lot of depth at wide receiver. So to see him out for 6 to 8 weeks kind of sucks. With that being said, should this be something that Packers fans should be worried about? And does this change the outlook of their season?
I think they'll be fine. They have a lot of young receivers. I think that's one thing we've all talked about in the last 2 seasons. Like they deal with a lot of injuries in the receiver position, but they have a lot of receivers in the position. I mean, it's what you draft, Matthew Golden for. So it's like
Sure.
you kind of have someone who can step up the production and things. I think all of them are equipped enough. So I guess if you're a Packer fan, sure, it's bad. Like, dang, that really sucks. But then it's also like, okay, like this is more of an opportunity for every other guy on that receiver core to step up. They're young, they're hungry. You got the rookie who wants to make those flashes. I think it presents a great opportunity for Golden to step up in a role and be able to kind of fill that void for Reed. So if I was a Packer fan, I wouldn't be too scared about it. I would be like, okay, it's just gonna be a different rhythm and maybe different production, but not end all be all, I guess.
Yeah, well, and the good thing for the Packers too, they weren't a pass heavy team to begin with. I mean,
Right.
they're pretty balanced when it comes to their strategy. So it's like if need be for whatever reason, they can always rely on the run game a little bit more. But I would agree with you. I would say it's nothing that they should be too terribly worried about, but just something to keep an eye out on. Because, like I said, injuries is the one thing that was, I feel like, preventing their success going forward. So to see, one of their best wide receivers out so early kind of sucks. But still up and up for the Packers. I don't know who they have next on their schedule. Matter of fact, actually, we're going to get to it here in a second. They play the Browns. So, we'll get into predictions here in a little bit. But like I said, up and up. Moving on, we saw the Cowboys face the Giants today in a game that went into overtime. I don't know if Cowboys fans can handle another game like that, but unfortunately,
It was great.
I feel like more games just like that are to come. Definitely kept us on our toes. There was a lot of awful defense. Oh my gosh, a lot of awful defense. How do you let the Giants go up 37 points? I'm sitting there looking at the score. I'm like, why is the combined score in the 70s?
They weren't playing any defense.
Oh.
They were just scoring.
They're just
That's it.
scoring. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Dak looked good. I
Yeah.
want to give him his flowers because I don't typically ever. So I do want to give him his flowers. He looked really good. Lost his first 2 career starts against the Giants in 2016. He's won 14 straight since, so that's a huge accomplishment for him. I do want to ask thoughts on CeeDee Lamb's contributions or lack of. Because I feel like we haven't talked about him. We haven't seen a lot of him. We've seen a lot of him messing up. We haven't seen a lot of flashes of success. So thoughts on that situation, thoughts on just CeeDee Lamb's impacts, contributions to the team so far this season.
I don't want to be highly critical of CD, but I guess there comes a point when we're talking about top receivers of the league, and he's most of the time in those conversations, you wanted the money, you wanted to get paid like a top guy. If anything with CD, I don't know if me watching him and his production, the drop passes, things of that nature, makes me look at him differently, or does it make me look at the real great wide receivers and have more of an appreciation? Like, I don't know. When I watch CD sometimes, I'm like, wow, yeah, Jamar and Jay Jettas are in a different league of their own. Like, there are no peers. Like, it's them. Like Mike Evans, that's a Hall of Fame jacket already waiting. Like, his career is solidified. But like the younger stars, I mean, I even look at Malik Neighbors and I'm like, yeah, he's starting to get that gap too as well. With CD, I don't know. Sometimes it's disappointment because you want him to take that leap, to be that guy that can be trusted all the time. But I don't know. I don't know if it's him. I don't know if it's the play calling. I don't know if it's because defenses have so much attention on him now. I don't know, but those aren't great excuses for me because I've seen a lot of great wide receivers who are getting double teamed, triple teamed, safety over the top, another safety over the top, and they still find a way to score or to catch the football. So I don't know, but at least they have George Pickens, and he looks like he is up for the challenge for a battle of wide receiver 1.
Oh, absolutely. NFL young boy, man. He's been fun to watch in the Cowboys. He's been fun to watch. I like him. I like him being there. They, like you said, they do have him.
Mm-hmm.
They do have him. So when CD is, not as present as Dak needs him to be, at least they got NFL young boy to rely on. So
he really is NFL young boy.
He is NFL young boy. I respect it. I
mean, because of his catch, it set them up for the game-winning field goal. So it's like, NFL young boy. He out there doing it, man. Shout out George Pickens. He found a home. He's the right fit for Dallas. They're seeing it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Great move. Great move. I'm glad that worked out for him. On that note, speaking of football, we do have a game coming up here in about 20 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and get through some of our last segments. Let's go ahead and get into week 3 predictions for NFL games. We're going to start with Dolphins Bills, the Thursday night matchup. Michelle, I think I already know your answer.
Absolutely the Bills.
Yeah, we're not choosing. Bengals Vikings.
Vikings, because Joe Burrow looks that he's going to be out for some time.
Yeah, that toe injury is unfortunate for him. So I'm going to go Vikings as well. We've got Texans Jags.
Texans.
I'm going to say Texans there. Colts Titans.
Oh, Colts are 2-0 though.
That was my initial thought too. I don't know if I can root against the Colts again.
Okay, I'll put some respect on the Colts then. I'm going to go Colts.
I'm going to go Colts as well. 3-0. See. Raiders Commanders.
Commanders.
I know I want to see how the Raiders play tomorrow, but I don't know. I'm going to say Raiders for right now. Rams Eagles.
Actually, I'm going to go Rams. I'm a big Matthew Stafford fan.
Okay.
I respect Stafford. I'm going to go Rams.
Okay. I'm going to choose Eagles on that one. We've got Falcons Panthers.
Falcons. Panthers look horrible.
Yeah, Falcons as well. Steelers Patriots.
Oh, crap. That defense for the Steelers is good now, especially with Jalen Ramsey. I'm gonna actually go Patriots. Drake May is balling.
I didn't like how the Steelers looked this week, so I might go Patriots as well, but I do really want to say Steelers. I'm going to say Steelers. Okay. Packers Browns.
Packers.
Jets Bucks.
Bucks.
I'm going to say Bucks too because the Jets look crap today. Broncos Chargers. Yeah, I'm going to go Chargers as well. Saints Seahawks.
Seahawks don't look good and the Saints don't look good either. I'm going to say Saints.
I'm going to go Seahawks on that one. We've got Cowboys Bears.
Cowboys
as well. 49ers Cardinals.
Cardinals playing good today. I'm going to say Cardinals because 49ers, Brock Purdy's out for a little minute. Yeah, I'm going to go Cardinals.
I go 49ers on that one. Chiefs Giants. Chiefs here. And then the Monday night game, Lions Ravens.
I'm
gonna go Ravens there as well. All right, that wraps it up. That's our picks for the week 3. We'll circle back to see if we were spot on with those or not. And that leads us into our favorite segment of the night. Lachelle, you want to go ahead? Tee us up.
Yes. Okay, chat, get active because we ask you every week hot takes, questions, drop them in the IG. Sometimes y'all are scary. Sometimes y'all are very energetic and receptive and responsive. And we appreciate that. To the people who give us things, thank you. We appreciate you. To the people who don't, no comment. Okay. So we have 3 either hot takes, opinions, questions that we have here. And since we're still on the football kick, first one, this is kind of funny. There are 100 million obese people in America, and the Bengals can't find 5 to block for Joe Burrow.
I hear no lies.
To the people who made battle with obesity, we are not making fun. We love everyone. The Bengals do need to find people that are equipped to block. I don't know if that's in the conversation of obesity more than maybe some guys that know how to knock down trees in the woods. You know what I mean? Who drive Ford F-150s and they take pride in protecting their quarterback. I would think that's probably the conversation.
Sure.
Yeah, that O-line is bad. Yeah, it's been bad since he got there.
Yeah.
And he's going to continue to most likely get injured like he is now by getting sacked.
Just like we saw today. Yep.
Yeah. But there are a lot of people out here who can take on that role.
Hey, there are a lot of larger individuals that could probably be better than what the Bengals currently have on their O-line. And that is a topic of discussion that I think we will continue to have time and time again. Because Lachelle, like you said, that O-line has not been great.
It's bad.
Not been great.
It's bad. Okay. On that note, This class of college football quarterbacks is horrible. I agree. They're very average. No one stands out to me fully. Kind of like last year, I feel like we had more conversation about certain guys that we felt like who could, slide into the position of QB1 in the NFL. But this current class, nobody really stands out to me. Maybe the only one that I really, really enjoy is John Mateer. If he was to come out for Oklahoma, like he's one guy that I'm like, he looks like Baker Mayfield to me. And it took Baker a while, but he's found success now with Tampa Bay. And we have conversations of him having type of MVP numbers as he did kind of last year. But yeah, no, it's average. These guys are average.
Yeah, I'd agree on that one. I mean, looking at QBR, total QBR season leaders right now. Surprisingly, the USC quarterback is ranked number 1.
He's efficient. He's really efficient. Some guys are sneakily like efficient and accurate.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know if it stands out on a whole sheet of paper. Like, wow, like he's like franchise quarterback, but some guys know how to play their role. I mean, some guys are really great system quarterbacks. And I think in the NFL, you got elite talented guys like a Josh and a Lamar. And then you got guys who are in the system that work very well, like a Jared Goff. Like, I think he's a system quarterback that can be successful. So some guys in college, I think, are that. I think the generational talent word for this class, I don't see it.
Yeah. I definitely would not attribute that title to this class in the slightest. Not at all. Not at all. Yeah, it's not been great. Nothing exciting. Nothing overly interesting. Seen a lot of people discuss this on Twitter that this is just, hey, not the recruiting year that they thought it was going to pan out to be. A recruiting class that they thought it was going to be. So, I can't disagree with that take. I am standing 10 toes behind you on that one. It's bad. I don't know if I would say horrible, but it's bad.
It's not great.
Not great.
In the spirit of the WNBA, we have this hot take, which I don't know if that hot. I think Angel purposely sat out those games in retaliation against the Sky. My question would be, if somebody talking crazy about you, you finna go out there and play?
No.
She said her back hurt. Her back hurt. Was she in Vegas all right on the PJ? Yes.
She looked A-okay to me. Season ended, they said, plane, Vegas, club, fight.
She's healed.
Backstage.
She's healed.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
it happens.
There's no coincidence there. We know exactly why she sat out.
She's healed. Her back was hurting, you guys. She had back issues before. If we check, listen, I ain't sitting there going out there after y'all talked about me crazy. I'm not doing it. Ain't enough maturity in the world. Like, yeah, nah, my back hurt. I'm sitting my butt down on this bench. Y'all saying all these things about me. I had to apologize. You tried to suspend me for a half of a game. Y'all got it. I'm not doing it. Now you got people in the crowd with free 5 in the crowd. You know how crazy that is?
No, that's insane. To be at a home game, away game, whatever, but you got supporters talking about free 5 is insane. But I agree with them. I think it's probably best for her and her future if she leaves Chicago.
100%.
The situation there right now for her is not looking great. But yeah, I mean, if I were Angel, I'd probably do the same thing too. You're not really vibing with what's going on in the front office. They over here messing with you, like we talked about earlier, making internal things external, making private conversations public.
Facts.
Do what you can to control the situation. And if that's saying, "Hey, my back hurts, I gotta sit out,"
at least she showed up.
Yeah. Hey,
I would have took that fine.
Yeah.
She got the money for it. I would have took that fine. I'm not showing up for these next few games. Forget y'all.
Yeah,
I have to take that up with God. I ain't taking it up with y'all. Like, at least she showed up, sat on the bench. She over there encouraging. I know that's right. I ain't playing.
Yeah. Hey,
my back hurt.
It could have gotten uglier. So you're right. At least she showed up. That was the mature thing to do. So I'm glad that was the route that she ultimately took.
We support it.
And we support y'all for dropping your takes. Thank you for that. Another week of good takes, another week of good thoughts and insightful opinions. We appreciate it. On that note, we want to thank y'all for joining us again tonight for another episode of Off the Record. We're live here on Twitch every Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Don't forget, we are on a new time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, because of the new NFL schedule, or not new NFL schedule, but because of the NFL schedule and new season. 4 p.m. Pacific time. So make sure you sub or hit that follow button. And if you miss any part of the stream, don't worry. Every episode is posted on YouTube on Mondays, 5 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. On that note, y'all, we out.